Did you know turbans are Persian? The earliest evidences we have from them come from the area of modern Iran. Fast forward a few hundred years and Islam comes on the scene. The Arabs were already wearing turbans before Islam, but then after Islam, turbans took on an Islamic cultural context. People would wear black or green to indicate descent from the Prophet, or they would wear other colors to show their allegiance to a Sufi order, a tribe, a region, etc. There were literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different turban styles that had a vast array of origins and significances. Eventually, fast forward to the Safavid era, Europeans began to travel to the Near East in large numbers, and they pick up a Persian word, tulband, which basically means wrapping around, and eventually from there we get the English word turban. We also get the English word tulip from that time because, believe it or not, as I've spoken about before on this page, tulips are not from the Netherlands, they're actually from Safavid Iran, or at least that's how the Dutch got them. So if you look at a tulip, you can see the connection that it has a bunch of layers and it's about the shape of a human head. So a tulip is like a turban. And if you look at the Safavid era miniatures, you can get a very beautiful window into what turbans used to look like. They were ornate, bejeweled, had all kinds of feathers and fabrics and things hiding inside of them. And you find many references to turbans in Persian literature. That's one of the reasons it's important to understand this piece of headgear, because when you read the poetry, you need to understand what's being talked about when Rumi says, Shams, I've given my turban to you. Shams, take me by my turban tail. If you fast forward a couple more hundred years, we get the Reza Shah and Ataturk era, and they were looking westward and trying to reform and modernize our societies. So to that end, they curtailed some of our Middle Eastern looking clothing, including the turban. But one group resisted, and they were the ulama, the Islamic scholars. So they were allowed to wear turbans while everyone else was more or less not allowed, aside from people who were in more distant areas such as Kurds or Baloch. And for that reason, we mostly associate turbans in modern Iran and Turkey with Islamic clerics, although that wasn't intrinsically originally the case. There's nothing essentially Islamic about a turban. It came from before Islam, and it's only because of this modern context that we now associate this piece of headgear with a particular clerical class. If you look at pre-modern Iran, you had Zoroastrians, Jews, Christians, everyone literally wore a turban. And famously, another group well known for their turbans, the Sikhs, they also wore it in that same Persianate context in North India, in the Mughal Empire, and they called it a dastar, which is actually a Persian word meaning at the hand. So if you'd like to learn more about turbans and all other facets of pre-modern Persianate life so that you can better understand our literature and the complexities therein, the references to their lived reality, then you should see the free classes at Persian Poetics. The link is in the bio.